I learned the hard way that it was my relationship with money that was holding me back from making more in my business. Everyone's telling you, charge more, double your prices, triple your prices, go after CEOs, executives. So it took me years to get comfortable charging a little bit more, justifying a little bit more. I did figure it out in the end, but it took 10 years. They're going to guarantee a life-changing result in 12 weeks. They're going to learn so much through all the value I provide them. It changed my life. I would not have the business I do now. I would not have the business with the gym or with the online coaching that I do now if I still charged extremely cheap. Do you feel uncomfortable talking about money? Do you feel uncomfortable taking money from people because you think that they're in the same situation you are? It's not true. Alright guys, welcome back to another video. Now today I want to give you a quick story, right, where I learned the hard way that it was my relationship with money that was holding me back from making more in my business. And this came through the fitness industry, okay? So I was selling online coaching well before it was cool, well before it was popular, and every single person and their dog is an online coach. They train for a few days and then they're offering online coaching in their bio and they're qualified, right? Way before that ever happened. This was about 2016, 2015 is when I officially started posting online, building an audience, just documenting my journey. People started to ask, I was getting in good shape, I was passionate about it, people bought into my why, and they wanted help. So I started selling training plans, nutrition plans, and the problem I had initially was I believed every single person around me was in the situation I did. Probably because when I started, I was in school and then I was in college, right? So everyone my age was pretty much in the same situation. You know, every single question, for example, going around food, going to the cinema, it was like, can I afford it? Do you have enough money to do that tonight? Like even having a fiver, like £5 to go to the cinema was like a question mark for all of us as boys. And I don't come from a poor background, right? So I don't come from the broke, living homeless, where every penny counts. I don't come from that background. But me personally, I never had money. It was all the way up until I was like maybe getting my first job in accountancy was when I first climbed over the £1,000 mark in my bank account. So all through that time, I believed everyone was in the situation. And actually, when you do look up the stats of it, there is a large group of people that are living in that realistic scenario. But the opposite 50% of the market, 50% of people are living in a completely different scenario to you. And the way you view the world and the way if you realize that, it changes your perception completely. So how this affected my business early on. I only charged prices I could afford, okay? So I wanted to help a lot of people and I felt uncomfortable talking about money, taking money. I wanted to make money, I knew that, but I just felt uncomfortable charging more than what I thought I could afford. What could I pay for? What could I justify? So that resulted in me charging for online coaching, right? £5 per week. I've got the same posters and advertisements that I had at that time still with me saved on my phone today because it's ridiculous. When I look at it, I laugh. It works out £5 a week, right? For someone to generally coach you through a process, which now the online rate in 2026 for fitness coaching realistically is anywhere between £200 per month to upwards of £400, £500 a month, depending on who you're working with. Okay, then what I've noticed is over the last couple of years, the flip opposite has happened where everyone's telling you, charge more, double your prices, triple your prices, go after CEOs, executives, busy professionals. If I see one more advertisement for busy professional, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to quit, I think. But yeah, I understand it. People are starting to realize now that if I go after the wealthy individual, I'm going to make way more money. But that's two opposite sides of the spectrum. The moment it changed for me was just from a conversation with someone else in the industry that I trusted, and they said to me, you've just got to double your price, right? Bearing in mind, I should have doubled my price because at that point in time, it was maybe 3, 4, probably 5 years into coaching and I'd slowly creeped up my prices, which is not the advice I would give to anyone now. So it took me years to get comfortable charging a little bit more, justifying a little bit more. So I was up to maybe on average, maybe 60 to 70 pounds per month for what I would say is world-class coaching. Like I was so passionate. I lived and breathed the whole thing, right? That ended up growing and scaling into what we built with PV Academy to over 250 plus active clients. We were making 30 to 40 grand a month. So we done very well with that online business. In the end, when I figured everything out, and I only figured it out from working with people, consuming so much content, blah, blah, blah. But I'm going off on a tangent now. So that's where things went. So just so you know, I did figure it out in the end. But it took 10 years. It took like 8 to 10 years really to when we started building that sort of momentum. So I'm making this video because if I fixed that relationship with myself early on, and maybe if you watch this now, and if you feel uncomfortable on a sales call, when it gets to the point of taking a payment, talking about your pricing packages, if you put that off because you're scared of money, and have that conversation with yourself deep down, do you feel uncomfortable talking about money? Do you feel uncomfortable taking money from people because you think that they're in the same situation you are? It's not true, okay? So I basically doubled my prices, not really, from £60, yes. So £60 a month, I doubled it to £127 a month, 127. I felt comfortable with that number for some reason. I just felt like, yeah, that doesn't sound too bad. It doesn't sound like £150, but it also doesn't sound cheap, like, way back to £100. It's a little bit more than that. So I'm like, yeah, I'm edging my way closer, because the guys were saying to me, you should be charging 200, 250. I was like, there's no way I'm doing that. Like, I just didn't feel comfortable. I was like, there's no way this is going to work. People still say it's expensive when they see it as 60 quid. Because here's the other thing that's important. There's this whole thing that you could talk about for hours called pricing psychology, right? Whatever price you charge, people associate that with something. So, for example, if you see, what can I say that will actually make you compare something? I can't even think of anything. Let's go with a phone, right? They're all on monthlies now, so that's not even a good comparison. But let's say there's a phone. Let's say I say to you, this iPhone is £1,000, but you can pay for it monthly over 2 years, and you can get this in your hands today. Or this iPhone, it's an iPhone, I'm still saying it's an iPhone, is 10 quid, one-off payment. Which one would you take, right? Naturally, you just know nothing about the product. Even if I'm telling you it's the exact same, you will wonder, what's wrong with this? There's definitely something wrong with it. It's not going to work properly. It's going to break. There's going to be no warranty. I won't even waste a tenner on it. I won't even try it, right? Some of you may, because percentages wise, there will always be someone. Most of you will look at this as the premium, superior product. I want this one, even though I'm literally telling you it's the same thing. And that's the same with coaching. When you hear of a coach advertising 30 quid a month or 60 quid a month or even 100 quid a month these days, it's seen as cheap. So people think, yeah, okay, I might get results, but it's not going to be guaranteed. And, they may not reply to me. It'll probably be that coach that doesn't really know what they're doing. They'll give me bad advice. It might affect my health. They'll tell me to use drugs. They won't reply in 3 to 4 days. They might not get back to my check-in. They're not going to be there when I need them to. That's the reality, because it is true. There's so many coaches out there that are like that, but they're happy to take the extra money for them because it's a little side hustle. And it's a little bump in their payment every single month compared to the job they actually work. Whereas when you build this as a real business for yourself, you can price yourself as premium because you feel more confident in your services. And over time, when you fix that relationship with money, you realize, no, I am worth this. This payment of £600 for 3 months that someone's going to pay me, so £200 a month, they're going to guarantee a life-changing result in 12 weeks. They're going to learn so much through all the value I provide them that it is absolutely worth 600 quid. And when you flip that conversation to say to someone, is it worth £600? If you could click your fingers and in 3 months' time, you're happy, you're walking on the beach, you're the most confident you've ever been, you feel confident in clothes, and your life is completely changed. Yes. For 99% of people, yes. Of course, it will come down to what's affordable to them. But if you work it out as a percentage of their net worth, right? For most people, there is 50% of people that will have more than a good couple of grand in their bank account and they make a good couple of grand a month, right? So it is worth it to them, 100%. They're probably going to end up spending more than that on takeaways and nights out every single month anyway. So when you compare it like that, it's worth it, okay? Not everyone's in the same situation you might be in right now. So that's what I'm trying to say to you. If you feel uncomfortable talking about money and you think that a difference in just 20 or 30 quid is going to change someone's yes to a no, it's not. If you put your prices up by 20, 30 quid, it's actually going to probably allow them to view you as more premium, as the better option, because what else do I get then for that money? Like, this must be a much better service because they are priced higher. That is the way pricing psychology works. The more expensive product is the one we deem to be the best. So you've just got to back that up then. Once you get people over the line, number one, they're paying you more. So it actually allows you to do a lot more for them because you don't need to take on as many clients to hit your revenue goal for the month. So you can actually deliver a better service, and that's the whole point. And there's better margins, so it's just a win-win. But my point is with this video is fix your relationship with money, wherever it's come from. I'm not a psychologist, but I know for a fact that it'll come from your surroundings, your environment, and the way you have grown up as well. It will come from the advice from your parents that they've given you around money. You will have adopted, whether you wanted to or not, a lot of the same ways that they view money. And if they are not financially where you want to be, I know it's tough. I know it might be your parents or close friends. It is not worth taking any advice from them if they are not financially where you want to be. If anyone's giving you financial advice or their beliefs around money, it's just going to probably allow you to end up in the same situation they're in, right? So I would go out there, I would listen to the podcast where people talk about the psychology of money. There's a good book out there. There's a lot of good books, but there's a good book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad that will completely change your perspective on it if you do come from a poor background where people view money as this thing that's very scarce and they need to protect it. And you might be feeling that right now. You might be like, yeah, you do need to, it is scarce. You need to protect it. You need to protect every pound. It's a very different thing. The way you change, and when you change the way you see money, it will change your life completely, and you will start to attract money. And I'm not saying that in a woo-woo spiritual way. I'm just saying in the way you go out there to offer value, and people make a fair transaction. They want to pay you more. It changed my life. I would not have the business I do now. I would not have the business with the gym or with the online coaching that I do now if I still charged extremely cheap. I literally would not have been able to afford anything that we've ever gone on to do. And that has literally come down to pricing. So I am not saying the opposite of what people say, which is like double your money, 10x your price point, just charge more. You obviously have to deliver a great service. But if you do genuinely deliver the result that you're promising, more often than not, if your relationship with money sucks, then there is going to be a possibility that you probably could maybe double or triple your prices and people would be happy to pay it. So I hope this helps. I hope you have a look at yourself and really think, do I have a good relationship with money or do I need to work on it? And the easy way to answer that question is, do you feel uncomfortable talking about money with people? And do you feel uncomfortable asking people to pay you money, to charge for your literal services, which is what you provide? So anyway, make sure you subscribe if you're trying to grow or scale a service-based business online. And I hope this helps. I hope this gives you a wake-up call and changes your business.